Hey, welcome to No Filter Just Faith. I'm Brian.
I'm AJ, and thank you so much for joining us.
So, let me ask you a question.
Yes.
What does faith actually look like?
So I believe that faith looks different for everybody, and faith is something that can be a little confusing at times because what are we talking about? Faith, or are we having faith that the person at the stoplight's going to stop? I think uh, Johnny Baker, your friend, guy, I hope to know one day. Yeah,
friend.
we're gonna meet.
He's great.
We're gonna meet him one day.
It's so wonderful.
I think that he puts that in one of his things we put a lot of faith into everything around us. We put a big our car's brakes are gonna work. We're gonna like you check your brakes.
Not before I finish. I don't think I agree.
Faith is gonna work. So like
I should check those.
That's gonna leave. I'm gonna check my faith. Check my faith in my brakes. So I think like faith like that is just it's a broad subject. But I think in a way it means so much. So what I assume that you're talking about is faith in with God. Like, what does your faith look like with that?
Right.
Yeah.
What does it look like, right? Yeah. So we have this God. I'm a believer. You're a believer. We follow Jesus, right?
Yes.
We have this relationship and or this building of relationship with Jesus, right? But what is like in reality? What does faith look like? Like, so I heard a song that I'm really into right now.
Okay.
Right, from Elevation Worship, and he says in the song, "Who am I that you keep me on your mind all the time?" Like, so who am I to this God to have that he has all this great faith in me, and in return, he just wants me to have all this great faith in him?
Yeah.
And you're right. We have faith that we're going to stop. Hopefully, the brakes work at the stop sign. That the person across you will stop at the light, and not crash into you, or from behind you. Who knows?
Yeah.
What does that actually look like?
Yeah.
Like, you're asking me to trust you, right? You had mentioned when right before we got started today about Burger King, right? You'll go to like a fast food joint, and you have faith that he didn't spit in your burger.
Yeah, sometimes.
Right? And you have faith that when you tell him no onions, he'll put no onions because if you eat an onion, you might die. I'm not allergic to onions, but somebody might be.
Right. Yeah.
And so that's kind of what I'm.
Yeah. So to me, yeah, I think that's faith can be so different, but like even within faith, as in what we're looking with God, I think that's different for different people too. Is I hate to say like levels of faith, but I think there's like different like areas of faith. I would say my faith is built as a relationship. Everything I do, I try to put God into. And I would love to lie to you and tell you that like everything I do that I put God into, and every decision I make and everything I do, and even though I aspire to that, it's not a realistic concept. I still doubt. I would love to have the faith in God that I have in my brakes. You know, like I don't check on them. I don't do any of that kind of stuff. But I question God often, and that comes out like not me sitting here being like, I know you're not wanting the right thing, but like I have worries, I have anxiety, I have doubt. I sit here and I worry about money. I worry about what my kids are doing. I worry about how my kids are doing. What mess am I making in their life? What the mess am I making in my significant other's, Candy's life? Significant other sounds weird to me. I don't know.
That is a weird word.
Yeah, I don't know why I said that. So I worry about all that stuff, but like I preach weekly about how you shouldn't, like, just give it all to God, and it's great. And I preach, and I know, and I can tell you 100%, I know that God will take care of everything. It's been too evident in my life that every time I've fought against and handled something on my own, that it fell apart. But as soon as I give up on it and hand it to God, it's great. So my relationship, with my relationship with Candy, that I don't manage my relationship. And it's gonna sound weird, like you should definitely manage your relationship, but I don't. I put it fully on God. If he wants me with her, if he wants her to be mad at me, and she does that often, because apparently I say weird things whenever I want to say them.
Never mind.
But like my relationship is fully uh in God's hands. Like if He wants her happy, she's gonna be happy. And if He wants me to do, like, I just follow that, and I blindly follow that. And the strongest relationship I have in my life right now is that, and that's because I have zero control over it, and I accept zero control over it. Like, I don't try to sit here and act like I'm a good husband or a good fiance or good whatever role that I'm in currently. I don't try to act like I'm good at that. I know I'm terrible at it.
Mhm.
Like I'm terrible at it because if at the end of the day my natural instinct is to be selfish. Like if we want to do something and if I put it on me, we're gonna do what I want to do. Like
Yeah.
we do what I want to do. I'm not saying like I just only do what she wants to do. Uh, but like if you're to ask me like, do you want to go watch a movie or a hockey game? I'm probably gonna pick a hockey game. Do you wanna I don't know, we similar a lot of things, so but like if there's opposite sides, like I would most likely pick my side. So my faith into our relationship is to understand that I am not taking ownership at it whatsoever. And with that, having that faith that God will take care of it and go exactly where He wants to do, it's the strongest relationship I have. It's probably the strongest relationship I've ever had. So in that concept of like when you're like, what does faith look like? I believe that faith truly looks like exactly that. How do you fully hand over whatever it is to know and feel that if you hand it over, it's going to be taken care of. If you hit your brakes, you will stop. And like to me, like that's that relationship with God. Once you create it and know that no matter what happens, He'll take care of you. Like that's faith, and
Okay.
that's what I aim for.
Okay.
How about yourself?
So, like I stated earlier, that song that, who am I that He keeps me on His mind all the
Mhm.
time. And I am grateful for Him. Um, and this morning I was listening to a sermon, and while listening to the sermon, it was just crazy that just this happened a little while ago about the song, but the the sermon this morning, he said that we're confused. We're confused because we are exactly the way God wants us to be
Hmm.
and where He wants us to be,
Yeah.
right? He has us on this path, on this trajectory for our lives, for His glory, not for ours, but for His.
Hmm.
It may feel like ours, but it's for His.
Sure.
And we're already set up. And just the way that he explained it this morning, I was like, man, it's true. It really is true. So I look at it like this. So in 2020, right around that COVID era stuff,
Yeah.
I had lost my job because of COVID.
Okay.
And for 3 months, I enjoyed the wonderful life of unemployment and stayed home. And it was great because I got a break for a while. Because when you're in sales and you work bell to bell and you get a little break, you're like, this is great. This is wonderful. Until your spouse tells you to go do something, makes a list of things for you to do. Then you're like, I don't want to be home anymore. I'd rather be employed all the time. But in reality, I was sitting there and I remember I had gone bonkers after for a little bit because I was unemployed, and I had said I'm young in my faith. I had just got baptized. I'm just trying to figure out my life. I'm just trying to get started in this new life in Christ. And I said, God, listen, I'm driving in my car. I said, listen, I have the faith. I believe in you.
Hmm.
I just need a job. I'll do whatever you want me to do. I'll wash toilets. I'll buff floors, whatever you need.
Hmm.
And my phone goes off, and it's a message from Indeed. And it's for a banking job. And I'm thinking to myself, this is a terrible idea. So I'm going to do it. And so I did it anyway. And I applied for this job, and I told my wife, and she was like, Brian, do not waste those people's time. What's wrong with you? You're not you need me to count for you. How are you going to count for others? And I said, maybe it was a bad idea. But it came out the same time I asked God, so I assumed that God told me to go and do it. So as we progress through that, the bank calls me and says, hey, we want to talk to you. And I was like, don't you go there and waste their time. Don't do that. I said, I did the opposite because I'm really good at that. Just do the opposite. So I went and I went on this interview, and the craziest thing happened. I was in there talking to the lady. We did not talk about the job. We just talked about myself and sales and things like that. And the assistant manager walked in. He goes, "Tell me about Celebrate Recovery." Somehow, every conversation I'm involved in, Celebrate Recovery comes up. And I had never met the man before in my life. And I told him a little about it in my journey. He goes, "Well, I've been sober 32 years." He turns around and walks out of the room. And the lady says, "Okay, thanks for meeting with us today." That was it. I wasn't even there that long. I got dressed up for nothing, I feel like.
Yeah.
And we shook hands and we left. The very next morning, my phone goes off. It's their HR department making me an offer for the job. And I thought, you got to be kidding me. I was like, okay. No problem. So I got a job, to help financially with our household and then to just get out of the house. And while I'm there, I meet a lady who works next to me, and she just asked, "What do you do when you're not here?" I said, "Well, I'm at Celebrate Recovery." She goes, "What is that?" And I told her. And my faith brought me to this point in my life. I had given my life to Christ. I had lost my job. I trusted that God would get me another one, and He did. And then I meet a random stranger who asked me about Celebrate Recovery, who then filtered that information to her sister. Her sister ended up going to a recovery house somewhere in Missouri and came back, attended Celebrate Recovery, and she's living in the free world.
Okay.
In a nice way.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what faith really looked like for me. Like I had a faith in this imaginary God that I always tell people about when I first got into recovery, and now that I truly believe in is not imaginary, it works every day of my life. I have the faith to trust that He has it. There are things that have gone on my life I should have done more.
Mm-hmm.
But I relied on God to make it better. There was a point in my life when we were trying to figure out how we were going to feed the kids. And then Amber checks the mail, and then all of a sudden, we feed the kids. And I'm like, gotta be God.